Hello fantastic creatures, I'm Fantasims and welcome to my channel. Today we will be reviewing the new Industrial Loft Kit. We're going to look at all the swatches, all the different objects that it comes with to see if it's worth it to you. So it doesn't come with a ton of things. I've laid everything out and I've organized it based on the different swatches. And one of the greatest highlights of this little kit is look at the texture of this leather on the couches. We've never had fabric that looks this good. Just all the creases and everything, it looks so realistic. It's got this really cool pipe design around it, you know, like how pipe furniture has been really cool as a DIY thing for a while now. I love the different color swatches we get, especially like this teal color. That's one of my favorite colors, but also there's a variety of warm and cool tones, and we do have some draped fabric, which is nice. I mean, the only thing I don't like about having draped fabric all the time is that sometimes like the colors don't always go. Like yellow, I'm not a huge fan of the color yellow, so if ever I want to use this color swatch, I'm always going to be tied down to using yellow. And we see a similar thing over here with the cabinets. These tubs are such a specific color that if you want to use this color swatch, you're always tied to having this particular color. I would have preferred if these were provided as like a separate clutter item that you could put inside there. That way you could pick whatever color you want. But overall, as far as the couches and chairs are concerned, I do think that there's a great variety of color choices. Then if we go over to this part of the furniture, I love all of these metal details with the little rivets in them. And look at these wood textures. They're just getting better and better with the wood textures. I love all of these different like rustic grains as well as the more smooth ones. Again, this happens with every single pack. I don't know why they do this, but they introduce like a wood swatch or a color swatch and then they don't follow through with every other furniture item. Like you've literally already created the color swatch, just apply it to the object so that you can have that variety. Now, not everyone wants to create a room where everything matches, but it would be nice to have that option. Like, why do you decide that this one and this one isn't worthy of having a dining table? Do you know what I mean? And then there's this introduction of these extra wood swatches that are not found in these desks. So this happens, I feel like a broken record because every time I review a pack, this is exactly the same thing for every single pack. But anyway, I do really love these desks. And, oh, actually it's a coffee table. Whoops, sorry. I was like, wait a second, it's a bit low for a desk. And it is. I do love this coffee table because you have this lower part and then this higher part, which is really cool. And if you have like a clutter item, you can place it on the top or the bottom, and I love that because it creates visual height in your designs, which is really nice. And then we have these high dining tables, and the only other dining table that is this high is from Discovery University. So it's nice to have a dining table that's a lot higher that you can use bar stools around, which I really love. And if we pull one out here, right here, let's take a look underneath just to see the details. I do love that design underneath. And again, the wood texture on top. It's very similar to this base game Industrial Kitchen, which I know that Plumbella just did a video talking about how a lot of the stuff in this kit looks very similar to industrial base game objects, and I would have to agree. I do think it ties in perfectly, and at least they followed through with some of the swatches so that if you want to tie this into your kitchen, it at least goes. I really think the base game cabinet, this base game industrial kitchen stuff should have really come with more swatches. There's literally 3 swatches for this object. That one, and that one, you know? So even though it does look very similar, I felt the same way about the Dream Home Decorator kit, how we already have a ton of mid-century modern looking objects, but a lot of people who are into that style were saying that there were subtle differences with the pack that made it worth it for them. And I feel like this kit pack is very similar, where yes, we kind of already have this feel of objects in the game, but if you are someone that's really into the style like I am, I can see the subtle nuances, and the textures are way better than a lot of the base game objects. Like we've got these new wood grains, and look at all these details. I love that this little side cabinet has a wheel on one side and has these little metal pulleys like you see in a lot of industrial furniture. It just, I don't know, it just gives it a really unique look to it. Again, doesn't come in all the color swatches that we see over on the coffee tables, but at least there's enough of the wood tones that they do kind of tie into the other pieces of furniture. Again, the chairs don't seem to match up. I couldn't even organize them based on the color really because they don't seem to fully tie in. Like you see how this wood color right here, I don't see it matching any of the furniture. Like the tone at least, like the warmth to it, like warm and cool tones can work, and the industrial look does incorporate mismatched furniture, so you can kind of get away with it. Still irritates me, but maybe I'm just a bit OCD in that. You guys can let me know if you agree or disagree. And then we have these side tables, which again, most of the swatches do tie in together. We are missing a couple of the color swatches, like we're missing these medium warmer tones right here. So we've got like this more taupey brown and then the paler colors, but we don't have this warm tone right here. And it would have been nice if we could have also had like this one with this wood grain in both this cabinet and the side table. I don't know, I guess to me, I really feel like if you're going to have a collection of furniture and you're going to introduce all of these wonderful wood tones, that they really should be applied throughout the entire thing. Because look, if I know that this is different furniture, like you might not put these objects in the same room as these tables, but like if you're going to have these two match with each other, this is the closest thing that matches, and the metal tone doesn't match with it and the wood tone doesn't match with it. And so I guess, I don't know, it bothers me. I still love these objects. I think the textures are really cool. I love the metal design. I love these little clutter objects. Something I also complain about all the time is if you're going to put these clutter objects inside a furniture object, can you please provide them as separate clutter objects that we can choose to place on things? You've already put the effort into creating the mesh for these things. Can you please liberate them? So liberate the clutter. We need to start a movement. Hashtag liberate the clutter, and just like bombard the Sims team to just start liberating all these pieces of clutter, because it drives me crazy. I'd love to be able to use them as individual pieces. But anyway, I really do love these cabinets. I love the little metal hinges, all these little details, and like the mesh over here. It just looks really cool. And this is going to tie once again into eco lifestyle. I feel like ever since eco lifestyle, a bunch of the packs have really mimicked the same kind of style, which can be a good thing or a frustrating thing. For a lot of you, you will enjoy this because if you have Dream Home Decorator and Eco Lifestyle and Tiny Living, all of these packs together will create a really cool collection of objects for you to furnish your builds. But for some of you, you might think we've already have too much of this. We don't get enough variety in downloaded content, so I would prefer for them to focus on some different styles. I totally understand that argument too. We also have these planters. Again, I would love to have these stacks of books separately. I do like that we have some variety in the different color swatches. Again, we are missing some of the color swatches, particularly the warmer mid-range like this, which is kind of annoying too, because if this one matches the base game kitchen set, then I really feel like more furniture should have this color so that you can tie it into the kitchen. But anyway, I really do love, I mean, I'm a sucker for industrial style, so I really do love all these like little metal details on it. And then we have these lighting fixtures, and we have like our basic metal coloring. So we've got, what I like about this is we do have some warm tone metals and some cooler tone metals, and we have dark and light variety. And then there is the introduction of some more primary colors, which does tie into that modern industrial look a lot more. And it comes in 3 different heights, which is nice. And then these fans actually go along with the wood tones and the color tones of the lamps. And then I love these so much. So these are pipes that lock onto the ceiling, and it comes in 3 different parts, so you can mix and match them however you would want them. So like you can create all kinds of different shapes. And this is awesome because you guys have been begging me to finish one of my my underground post-apocalyptic build, and it's taken me forever. I apologize. But I literally spent days using the Eco Lifestyle debug pipes to create a ceiling system like this, and then here we are in a matter of seconds. you can just put in these air conditioning units. So it's okay. It's okay. It wasn't wasted. The ones I had are water pipes anyway. So, but I love this variety. It comes in some cool colors. I wish there were a few more swatches of colors. That would be nice, especially if you look over here. Like some of the pipes don't really match with the air conditioning vents over here. It would be nice. It would just be nice to have consistency with color so that every object comes in every color that's introduced. That way you can mix and match things however you want. So let's jump over to these pipes over here. Oh, I absolutely love this. Ever since Journey to Batu, we've been getting some amazing textures on the objects. I love that there's like a clean version and a rusted version for each of these. So we have the black, we have more of this warm tone metal, and then we have like a slightly darker gray, and then I suppose this is supposed to be like a white-ish color. Again, I do wish, like, this object is so cool. I wish that it came in more colors, and even if it incorporated some of these greens and these brown colors, that would be amazing. And I always thought maybe they don't include a bunch of color swatches because it takes too long, but after listening to some custom content creators, they said that it's super easy to just add a color swatch to a mesh. So I don't know what the deal is with that. But anyway, I don't want this to turn into like a complaining video for everything that comes in the pack. And then we have these plants. Now these little grass tufts, they are different from Dream Home Decorator, because the Dream Home Decorator one, let me pull it up. So see the Dream Home Decorator here, it has this funky thing, kind of like with rugs, if you try and elevate a rug, where it has this like trippy effect to it, where, I don't know, I can't describe it, but you can see it right here. Like when you elevate a rug and you can see through it, kind of, whatever. I'm not describing it very well. So this one has more of a solid color, and so it is very different. If anything, I actually think that the style of this is lackluster. Like literally, look, you've got one piece, a flat piece going this way, one flat piece going this way, and it looks so fake. Whereas this one looks way more realistic, so I feel like this is a bit of a lazy cop-out. Like, this feels more like base game, you know, when the game first came out, whereas this is like the better detailing that they've been doing lately. So I don't know how I feel about this plant, especially if you compare it to like the nicer details of like paranormal stuff came with this nice planter. And then the plant pot itself is reminding me of like this base game one right here. It's not bad. I mean, it's not my style, but I'm sure a lot of people will like that. I will say it is improved slightly in the texture. If you look, like, this is the base game one, and it's got a bit of shadow down here, but like this one has like the paler edges, and I feel like the blending from the highlight to the shadow is a lot nicer than this base game one that looks a bit glossy and plasticky. So there is improvement. I just feel like it's a bit too similar maybe, but maybe you guys like that because then you can tie it in together. But then look, if you compare it to this one from City Living, which City Living is one of the earlier packs, like that ombre effect of the shading is actually really nice. And I feel like, I mean, the plants look a bit tacky, but I feel like the actual planter itself looks way better than these ones. I feel like this late in the game, this plant is, personally, I think they could have done better. It just feels like a bit sloppy to me. Like, we kind of made these plants, so let's just throw it into this kit pack and charge people for it. And then I love these kinds of planters, the succulent geraniums. I wish they came with a bit more color options. The plants are mostly the same. There's some orange variety, red variety, and then green and pink. It would have been nice to have a few more swatches, but I still think this is a really beautiful design. I love that geometric shape to it. Okay, now let's look at the doors and windows. I love these industrial barn looking doors, and we have like the corrugated brushed steel ones over here, and then more of like a flat brushed metal over here. And it does incorporate some of the color swatches. We've got more of the yellow toned wood, we've got more of that taupe toned wood, and then the darker toned wood. So at least they tie in, even if they don't come in all the different wood swatches, which is fine. That would make for a lot of different doors. I think they covered most of the bases, so that's pretty good, and I just love that door. This one kind of reminds me, I mean, it does look more industrial, but it kind of reminds me of Get Famous style to it. The only thing I don't get, like, we get a rusted version, so let me try and zoom in. You see all that rust around it? I love that. I love that they're adding rusty, grungy stuff to it, to the game. Love it. It is a bit too similar to the plain version. They have grunged up the glass as well. I would have loved if it was just a tad more grungy, just to make it like a drastic difference between them, because essentially it only comes in 3 swatches. So it has the black, the kind of warm metal color, and then white, and just a slightly grungy version. I really do think this should have come in way more swatches personally, but I still do love it. And then we have some wall art. These are all the different swatches that you can have. I did size them down by using the bracket key once, so I do love this variety. I particularly love these ones right here. These two are my favorite colors. Just that old vintage look, like old factory wall decals. And I really love how there's one that has absolutely no color, so it'll tie into anything. And then these are so cool, these wall decorations with pipes. I think they all look a bit too similar. I'm so thankful to have them in this pack. I think they're absolutely cool. I would have really liked if all of these pieces were separate, kind of like Get to Work, like these pipes from Get to Work, how they're all separate so you can mix and match and come up with your own things. And then these pipes from City Living. I will say the textures of these are way better than these packs. So for those people who think that this looks too similar to City Living, I understand. I also think that the level of detail is way better. Like, this looks more realistic like pipes, whereas these are a bit cartoony in my opinion. But I would have really loved to have all these pieces separate, like these cogs and everything. If they could have just been separate, then I could mix and match, and I could come up with my own industrial wall with a bunch of different sized cogs, all these different pipes. It would have been so cool to be able to create your own network of pipes. I feel like that would have really made this pack way more worth the money. I don't know if I really think these objects are all worth $5 US. But before we finish, let's just look at these last few objects. We've got these rugs, and I think they tied in the colors really nicely. I'm surprised there isn't a yellow one. Again, yellow is not my color, but we do have little hints of yellow, which also reminds me of Eco Lifestyle, because they liked incorporating yellow in that pack as well. I swear, someone on the team is obsessed with yellow. Anyway, I love these designs. It's new. I don't think we have any rugs like this. I could be wrong. I don't know every rug swatch that we have, but I do like that we have some warm and cool tones, which will tie in nicely with whatever color scheme you're going for in your build. And then we have these beds. I'm not a huge fan of the color options personally, but realistically, I don't think I'll ever be happy with the bed swatches until they create a mechanism where you can have a separate color bedding to the frame, because I just can never get the bedding color or the frame color to match my designs. But I do like that it's like this cool industrial 4-poster bed. And if you're using the Move Objects cheat, I know a lot of you will come up with some really cool designs by putting curtains over it and draped. There's some like debug things you can use to make the look of draped fabric or whatever. I don't know. I feel like this late in the game, the fabric of the actual bed still looks, I don't know, like Like if you compare it to custom content always has the best looking bedding, and I just feel like this is very basic. Like even compare it to Seasons. Like Seasons still looks a bit, I don't want to say cartoony, I don't know what word I'm trying to come up with, but it's not that detailed, but at least you get some draped fabric. I'm sick of all this like really stiff looking bedding fabric, if you get what I mean. Like it kind of all starts to look the same. Like it's this stiff tucked in fabric. I don't know, maybe you guys aren't bothered by that. I'm just kind of bored with it. I'd like just some different kind of variety. Like see, this is from Snowy Escape, and it's just the same old, same pillows, same folded over blanket trim, same shape I don't know. It's old. Come up with something new, please. You know. And then here is one of the pre-made, or this is the only pre-made room that comes with this kit. And it's a mix of base game with the new stuff. And it does look really cool. I will say, I do love the way that it all looks together. I think it ties in really nicely. Oh, and I forgot to mention, what I don't appreciate about these windows is in one of the promo images for this pack, the window looks completely different and it looks a lot more like the one from the Moschino Stuff pack. So I feel like that was false advertising. But anyway, all in all, I do love the style. I don't know that I think it's worth the money. Maybe wait for it to go on sale if it goes on sale. I do love these wood textures. I really appreciate the level of detail in this fabric. I mean, for some of you, this alone might be worth the price tag. But yeah, I do think the Sims team could do better. I mean, if you think about it, stuff packs of the past, some of them come with this many objects. So, I mean, maybe to you guys it is worth the money. I personally, I love all these objects, so I'm pumped about it, but I don't know. Whatever. You guys let me know in the comments below. Do you think it's worth it? What are your thoughts on the stuff that we've gone over in this video? And I'm going to play around with this pack, see if I can build something cool. And until the next one, guys, I love you guys so freaking much.